The only way to escape from the game, I think the only plausible way to break out of the Amazing Digital Circus is to crash the game. Hear me out? TDC seems like a very glitchy and unfinished VR game. If the main characters somehow manage to exploit the programming, they might have a chance. For example, the appearance of too many objects and their interaction with each other could lead to an overload of the physics engine or a not enough memory error. Another scenario I could come up with is to go beyond the skybox until the z-coordinate exceeds the 32-bit integer limit, which would lead to a buffer overflow. I assume that the game developers didn't think about these extreme cases, and Cain is not able to stop our crazy main characters from performing the exploit. Now let's assume that they successfully crashed out of the game. What happens next? If their mind is not simulated on a computer, and they still inhabit human bodies that have not yet decomposed, they might wake up. However, if their consciousness is indeed simulated on a computer, and the simulation is run inside the game, it can be said that they may die. Forever. I like the idea that the characters don't know whether they are simulated or not. This turns the game crash into a huge gamble. If this show is going to be something like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison, where death is the best outcome and preferable to eternal suffering, the game crash might be the only way out. Assuming my little theory is correct, we're in for a depressing adventure. The C&A theory I was thinking about. What if Cain wasn't always the only NPC, and Abel was also in the game, but abstracted? If we think about it, Abel wants to get to the real world, but can't because he's an AI. We don't see a door for him, but it would make sense if the company was actually called Cain and Abel. This could potentially explain why Cain doesn't want people to go through the exit, especially when it's not finished and glitchy. Cain, as an AI, probably became much more unstable after losing Abel, who could have maintained stability. Cain was probably worse than Abel in helping others, especially since being an AI tied to the game, if he could feel emotions, he probably feared being left alone. This could also mean that Ragata's line could have been even more foreshadowing, not just for the immediate moment. Abel could have envied that everyone but him could leave, wanting to achieve an unattainable goal for him. If the characters overcome their own problems with themselves, they might be able to use their strengths to their advantage. Although this is just a theory, not some direct proof or something direct. The frame with the Last Supper of Jesus can have many meanings, especially for those who could potentially sabotage her future efforts and betray her. The Last Supper frame also hints that she might sacrifice for others, for example, stay with Cain to help him and not let him be alone. Something tells me that the computer in the exit part might hint at editing the game inside the game, showing that the exit doesn't quite reach the real computer screen and can actually be quite unstable, as the door keeps appearing and disappearing randomly. Kinger knows about the game, being there longer than everyone else, despite his fickle memory. Pomni can easily distract. Ragata can take damage that others may not withstand. Jax is fast, so he could easily pass messages if he wanted to. Gangle could be an extra pair of eyes, able to suspend items. Zubul can go where others can't, because they can be disassembled and bought back. Gangle, an insecure potential mime caught in TDC, tries to find a place where they can rehearse alone. Finally, they found their voice in the circus. Chance of abstraction. Low. Gangle is already broken in confidence. Suggest building them up only to expose their fears and break their spirit. Zubul. Everyone needs a place where they can just be themselves, so why not make it in the circus? They are free to be whoever they want to be, except for the freedom to leave. Chance of abstraction. Low. Zubul was indifferent. Suggest establishing connections with other people, then isolate them from their new family. Kinger. A chess grandmaster is looking for a worthy opponent who has come under control in the circus. Chance of abstraction. Low. Kinger is not quite there to notice the futility of the situation. Suggest playing a long game for the pieces to fall. Ragatha youth, the good old days when I played with dolls. Oh, to be a beloved doll. And here she is as her own rag doll, who left and joined the circus. Chance of abstraction, medium. Ragatha is close to breaking down, but she has little tricks and mantras to step back from the edge. Suggest giving her a push to get a better look at things. Jax, quite a rogue who learned from his own bitter experience about how to mess around and figure out. All for the sake of disobeying and submitting to the game, and now eager to see others suffer. Chance of abstraction. Low. Jax likes to see others suffer. Suggest making him the object of a joke so he laughs on the other side. Kaufmo. Who doesn't love a clown? Right, no one. New viewers can laugh at the circus to make them smile, and he could be a doctor. Chance of abstraction. Tears of a clown and all that moon Cain created the moon after the sun, and the moon is too. Warm and gentle. Sun burns brightly. Cain ringmaster in the circus, although he doesn't own anything outside of the circus or in other people's heads. Only a few performances left to perfection. Chance of abstraction. Ah-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha bubble. Cain correctly attacks an NPC for the first time and becomes his comfort bubble. Just don't ask Babel what the weather is like. Non-playable characters. Later, Cain makes non-playable characters to liven up this place. Not bad for being a fictional placeholder. Pomni. Our latest addition, and we're already making a real show of ourselves. Such is the fate of curious cats with bags stuck on their heads. Chance of abstraction. High. Pomni is already quite close to coming out of the depths. I find a lot of parallels between TDC and the biblical story of Cain and Abel. So here's my theory. Now in the pilot we see, and here are a few keys to this. Cain's name, the glitchy and broken state of the digital circus. C and A logo in the office ice complex. Mention of a brother. Just stay with me. In the Bible, Adam and Eve have 3 children from Adam and Eve. Cain, Abel, and Seth. Ignoring Seth for now. In the story of Cain and Abel, we see how 2 people make 2 sacrifices to God. Cain gave God a sheaf of wheat, and Abel gave God a lamb. It is unknown why God rejected Cain's gift in favor of Abel's gift. Cain, in a rage, will kill Abel in the first murder. For this, God cursed him to wander the earth forever. I believe that this story will become the subtext of the digital circus. Cain is trying to make a sacrificial gift to the god of programmers, and his brother Abel, perhaps, is doing the same thing. The problem is that Cain is bad at doing anything. Look at the digital circus. It's a mess of glitchy glitches, mismatched assets, and poor level design. The players don't even like it. My theory is that his brother in some kind of way is doing the same thing, but it actually works and brings pleasure. Maybe he will even have an exit. This will be the gift that the programmers exclude. Cain's design is very strange, even for a place like the digital circus. He wears circus attire, but the rest of his design doesn't match the circus theme. Unless, what if Cain's design is a reference to the audience itself? The teeth could be a reference to the audience's laughter, and laughter is often found in the circus. The disjointed, floating eyes could be a reference to the audience being observers, as everything their eyes see should bring them pleasure. Cain's teeth and mouth symbolize what the audience sees and how they react to the circus.